Continuing to read from A Mountain in Tibet, page 244. In June 2017, I welcomed His Holiness, the 17th Karmapa, to Samizong, London, our center in the capital city. It was his first visit to the UK. He was much more grown up, but just as gracious, relaxed, and generous with his wisdom as he'd been on the day I met him back in 1992. As always, he was accompanied by representatives of the Indian government, and his movements were tightly controlled. On a previous visit to see him in India, I was frustrated at the lack of time alone with His Holiness, in which I could talk to him freely. I missed the complete ease of my interaction with His Holiness's predecessor. We were able to speak a little more intimately over lunch, and His Holiness told me that he felt very trapped by the restrictions of his lifestyle. He once refused the gift of a caged bird presented to him by a follower who knew how much his predecessor had loved them, saying poignantly that he would never keep caged birds, since he himself knew what it was like to live in a cage. I could not contain my joy at seeing him in my adopted home country. I felt the unbroken connection with his predecessor, who had changed my relationship with mind and enabled me to change my way of life. My heart was full of gratitude. I've noticed that in all the photos taken that day, I am beaming from ear to ear as I sat at His Holiness's feet. When I think about His Holiness the Karmapa, I feel hopeful about the future. He is a High Lama who is very much a product of our times, and for that reason I am certain that he will exert a huge influence. He speaks fluent Mandarin and English. He is the first Lama of his status to accept nuns on an equal footing to monks, and has been working to restore full ordination for women within our Tibetan tradition since 2013. His Holiness has begun to invite Chinese nuns to the Monlam, the annual Kaju prayer festival in Bodh Gaya in India, so they can pass the lineage to Tibetan Buddhist nuns. This gesture is typical of his non-sectarian approach. He is actively seeking to unite the various schools of Buddhism. He is also an environmentalist. He himself is vegetarian, and in 2007 insisted that the kitchens in all Kagyu monastic institutions worldwide refrain from cooking meat. He has also encouraged all lay supporters to eat less meat. This obviously derives in part from the Buddhist prohibition against killing any living being. But His Holiness the Karmapa also emphasizes the value of a diet that puts less pressure on the environment. He has requested that every Kagyu monastery make environmental concerns a top priority. With a particular focus on tree planting programs. And on switching to clean energy sources and minimizing energy consumption. All of this seems to me to be absolutely right. Buddhism teaches that every creature is profoundly interconnected with every other. Modern life has encouraged us to think that we humans are separate and superior from the rest of the natural world. But, of course, this is a dangerous, ego-driven illusion. Ever since the early days of the Holy Owl Project, I have felt that Buddhism has a useful perspective to offer on the climate and biodiversity crises because of its profound sense of the sacredness of all life. As His Holiness said in an interview with Yale Environment 360 in 2015, the environmental emergency that we face is not just a scientific issue, nor is it just a political issue. It is also a moral issue. All of us have to pick up our share of the responsibility to find and implement solutions. I feel fortunate to have known 2 incarnations of His Holiness the Jalwan Karmapa and to witness their impact on the world. I have learned so much from them and am very grateful. I certainly needed all the guidance they and Akron Rinpoche could give me. I was not born a highly realized being like my brother or Trungpa, much less His Holiness the Karmapa. Any scrap of insight I've attained has been the result of efforts I have made in this lifetime. With the support of my gurus. Continuing from A Mountain in Tibet by Lama Yeshe Losal Rinpoche, from page 244.
Well, I can imagine the Lama Yeshe's delight when Karmapa came to the London Centre, and it was a pity while he was in Britain he couldn't make it to Sammy Ling or Holy Island, which was so close. Maybe another chance the next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll come back, for sure.
Yeah.
It gives him something to look forward to, because he will be coming for a first time to the places he wasn't able to get to when he comes again. So that will make it especially notable. Very, very special indeed for all of us.
Yes.
And what a time that Lama Yeshe Rinpoche had waited all these years to welcome him back after having been a part of 16th Karmapa's tours, that he was now again hosting him and making it possible for Karmapa to see the world and be in the West during this recent visit, now as the 17th Karmapa.
Yes.
Well, a lot has changed in the world, hasn't it, since the last time the Karmapa took a world tour. And so now the 17th Karmapa is very much a product of these days and these times, so the concerns that he is bringing forward are the things that are facing people now, quite a number of years after the 16th Karmapa's tour, which was in the 1970s. And quite a lot has changed in the world since then. So Lama Yeshe Rinpoche is talking about some of the concerns that 17th Karmapa addresses in his caring about the world and reaching out to the world. And one of them is about the women and the ordination.
Yeah. Yes, and it's a pity the Karmapa has not getting much freedom. He's watched and followed everywhere he goes. He doesn't have a real proper freedom, you know.
Yes.
Karmapa is already made lots of changes. He's
Yes.
already made some changes already, and there's a lot more to come.
Yes. So Lama Yeshe Rinpoche is focusing on the positive aspect of bringing more attention to the women who are within the lineage and taking steps to make that integrated so it's more balanced within the tradition.
So maybe more ripple sent through all the other Kagyu schools.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's also talking about Karmapa's concern for the environment and caring for all beings in the environment and the trees and the plants and the balance.
Will we see they're felling the rainforests now, and that is the lungs of the world. So it's good to plant a lot of trees for to get pure oxygen.
Yes.
You know, that's I think it's very important to plant as many trees as you can.
It restores the balance. It is going to compensate for disruptions.
Because of their greed for power and money, they're felling the rainforests, and they're not stopping. They're just carrying on. And that's the lungs of the world. We need that fresh air.
Yes.
You know, it's that bad in some places. Some cities like say Japan, they've got people putting a coin in a machine to get fresh oxygen.
Yes.
Which shows you how bad things are.
Yes.
So the better we grow more trees, the better.
And he's recognizing that this is the time now that we need to take action. As people are gaining more awareness of the immediacy of these concerns, they also can step forward and feel empowered to do something about them.
Yes, that's right. So it's a good that it's spreading, that people are starting to take an interest in the environment, and there's a lot of organisation doing tree planting and different things, you know.
Yes.
So like the Woodland Trust and the World Wildlife Fund are doing things, and other organisations do. And it's just sort of growing, so it's a good thing. It's sparking off like that, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Karmapa, who's been in retreat quite recently, also came out to share his thoughts and to lead prayers when the pandemic began. And that was very inspiring because so many people joined from all over the world, as he said, voluntarily to participate in that, which is bringing together concerns about the environment and all of our health and our well-being and how we care for each other in the world. And Karmapa became available to step forward and to speak in English and in Chinese and also Tibetan with his message that was very powerful, and making it accessible to all the people around the world who tuned in. So he's very much involved with where we all are right now and guiding us and supporting us, along with Lama Yeshe Rinpoche, sort of our cheerleaders and our leaders and our team players, giving us a positive example to move forward with.
Yes. So everything's moving ahead. Everything seems to be positive, you know.
Yes.
Very positive. And it'll just keep growing, you know.
Yes.
Getting better all the time.
So it's beautiful because Lama Yeshe Rinpoche is recognizing the importance of lineage within this part of the book as he's coming near the end, and the continuity that is possible through this idea of an unbroken lineage goes stretching back all the way to the Buddha and the teachers within the various groups that are coming back again and again and again to help and assist us all. So it's a way of, again, bringing together all the threads and tying everything together and helping us know that we're continuing to move forward, and this vision of possible forward positive movement is something that is ongoing and continuous. So we're very grateful to both Karmapa and to Lama Yeshe Rinpoche for being such wonderful role models for us, and also inspiring us to carry on and to stay positive and to keep making every day a step forward, to keep improving.
Yes. And it's good, all this tree planting takes over on a big scale, so it puts new lungs into the world.
Yes.
And the old lungs starting to fade away, we've got to get new lungs.
Yes.
To keep up.
A restoration of balance.
Yes.
And taking care of water and air and earth and all the elements. And thinking about how our daily choices in the way that we live have an impact on the people that surround us and also the natural environment.
Yeah.
So we can be more responsible and more responsive.
So I hope to hear more good news about this topic later on.
Yes.
These things, yes. See, we're all playing our part, you know.
Yes, everyone should feel that they can make a difference.
Yeah. We can even grow more trees in Holy Island too.
That's right.
Yeah. And Glen Scorrendale and Samueling, I could be growing a lot more trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okie dokie.